Hi, Success Nation. Thank you for watching this video. My name is Adrian Niculescu, and I have a special guest tonight, Andrew Darius, who is the creator of Explaindio. If you don't know what Explaindio is, I believe is the biggest seller in the market of video creation software. Hello, Andrew. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well, and I'm very happy to have you on this call. Due to the fact that you have an amazing entrepreneurial story and also a new product coming in the market these days. And we spoke a little bit before this interview, and I've told you that those interviews are centered around the idea that most of us, or all of us, we have a fire within, and sometimes we don't know what to do with that fire. And some of us can produce from that fire highly successful products, services, which can change the world. And I believe that your story with the Explaindio and maybe what was before Explaindio can inspire the audience, and I wanted to start with that. So, how do you start it as an entrepreneur?
Essentially, to be honest, I never worked for anybody else in my life, except when I was a student. So it was like when I was in my old country, I was essentially having different kind of businesses, but I decided that the US is a good place to come in and actually grow the business without having employees. Because before I did have employees, I didn't like them. I mean, I like people, but it is very big overhead. So the best business model with internet is actually to have business online, because you don't have to have any real employees. We do have a big team. Don't take me wrong. People are very important. We have 24 people team, so this is like a big team. But you don't have them in the same room. You have them around the internet. But talking about starting up, when I came in the US, I came in the US. I think it was 2003. I didn't really speak any English, so because I didn't speak any English, it was very hard for me to actually start any real business. So I figured out it may be very easy for me to actually do it online. At that time, there was no video popular, there was no audio. It was mostly like a standard, very long sales letter. When you had a headline, you have a text and images. So it was pretty easy for me actually to read and read English and write English, but I could not essentially speak like right now. I still have a strong accent, so if you are hearing this now, it is like perfect version of my own English.
It's a trademark, your accent, so keep it like that. So what did you do in that moment when you had like a potentially mental block that you can't speak the language? What did
okay, so here is what you have to do if you're stuck. Because I came to US like anybody else. Like I was just simply immigrant, like any other million of immigrants are coming in the US every year. And what I did different, I focused. Because if you just try to go from one point to another point, you can search, you can look, but at one point you have to take an action. So the key factor here is taking the action. So first, I make research like many other people do. I make research, I read out of stuff. Actually, I bought a few courses. Some were bad, some were good, some was amazing. And I don't know which one was this good one, but I probably bought like maybe 15, 16 different courses. And what I was doing while my daughter was going to taekwondo classes, and I was waiting for her to actually finish class, it was a lot of waiting, I would say, 3 hours per week waiting and doing nothing. So while I was waiting, I had at the time was MP3 players. There was no iPhone yet, so I was listening to MP3 player of all training MP3 files which I download, and I was learning internet marketing essentially from those audio files which I was listening while watching my daughter kicking butt in Taekwondo.
Tony Robbins calls this strategy no extra time, net time. So instead of wasting that time, you use it for learning something new, which is very good.
I mean, exactly the same when you were in a doctor office or whatever you waited. I had my MP3 player in my pocket, so I can listen. I think when I counted it, I listened probably to over 300 hours of content about everything I can find about marketing, good or bad, copywriting and other stuff. So my main first thing, which I figured out, the most important thing for me was to actually be able to write the good copy. Because no matter how good your product is, of course, product must be good. No matter how good it is, if the sales copy sucks, you will not sell anything. So I was probably watching and reading, was I think David Garfinkel DVDs, which I did convert it to MP3 so I can listen to them on my MP3 player. When I was listening, and one point of time was like just clicked. It clicked. So I just figured out, okay, so I understand what's the psychological triggers of writing the good copy. Even if my English was not good yet, I write the copy in the bad English, and then I hire a freelancer who essentially transfer my English to real English.
So when you started to acquire this knowledge, which were your first action steps, like doing something with that knowledge?
Okay, so as soon as I figured out what was important, I was thinking the next step was to see what market wants. And at the time, it was back then, so it was like probably 10 years ago, maybe 12 years ago. At the time was two ways of doing business, essentially. One was teaching courses, like training stuff. Of course, I was not experienced enough to do this because I essentially didn't have much experience to teach other people. So it was not the path I could choose, because I didn't know enough to teach others yet. So I was two other paths actually. One was to buy the PLL product. I did try it first time, but it didn't work because I was trying to be. When you start, you would try to establish your brand. You try to deliver something different, and you don't really want to deliver exactly the same thing as other people have. Unless you have, of course, a leash, and so it is like a later stage when you can do it. So I'm thinking, okay, so what people wanted, so I was not, okay, so marketing, what they want. I researched it, and I came up to the conclusion that at the time, and still but to this day, the thing which people like most is software. Software which can help grow their business. Because this internet marketing market is relatively small compared to the grand or bigger markets, big companies don't really produce any software which is very usable for the market we are on, for internet marketers. They are essentially producing software for a big market, or even consumer-based software, which is like sold in millions or hundreds of thousands of copies, or they produce like very expensive software for $1,000 or $700, like Adobe Creating, and also it requires a huge knowledge, which most people don't have time to learn, or essentially it is too difficult. Or there is a software which is like, I don't know, for corporation. So at the time was, and still now somewhat, there is a big gap between what the smaller marketer needs, like a middle-sized, smaller, versus corporation. And I figured out, okay, it will be a good market to start with. I was thinking, what is the most important thing for them to do? And my very first software was software to actually brand an ebook the way you could put your own links in the ebook and then collect subscribers. It was my very first software. It's called Brander at the time. Brander is you can brand your ebook. It was turning the PDF ebook to XFI at the time. Today it is not good because Mac cannot run those XFIs, but back then almost nobody had Mac, so it didn't matter. So I had the software which turned PDF ebook, even a PLL ebook, whatever ebook they may want to use, into the ebook which can be logged with entering the email address, or you could put your own affiliate link at the top of the ebook, whatever, and people loved it. People loved it, and I sold maybe on my first product, I sold I don't know, 7,000, maybe 7,500 or something. It was my very first product which I came to market because there was no other product like that at that time.
And how did you sell that product to affiliate?
On ClickBank.
Oh, ClickBank.
It was ClickBank product. Plus, I was lucky enough. I don't know, lucky or unlucky. I went to the conference. I talked to people, and actually, I talked to 2 or 3 different bigger affiliates. It was easier then than today, but I did it, and they essentially loved the software. So I convinced them to promote it so they can make money. It was all on ClickBank. ClickBank at the time was very strong, not anymore right now for intermarketer at least. They are still strong on different markets. So, and after this product, essentially it was like easier to go to the next because I have customers. And from then what I figured out that I do not want to make a software the same as any other people do. So I try to avoid situation when I'm doing exactly the same software if the software is on the market, because I don't want to compete with a small feature extra if I can avoid it. So all my software which came after that try to be different, try to deliver something which is missing on the market. Essentially the same like I did with Expandio. It was very, very fast video player, and believe me, still is. So in 2014, there was no player which combined the sketch with animation and with full motion video. And guess what? Now it's 2016, and there is still no any software which combine hands-drawn images with animation and with video. So it is still a very, very fast Expandio which we developed in 2014, still is the best one on the market and the only one which can do some features. And then we released last year Expandio 2, which added animation, added sketch to video, added animation to sketch, and all of different kind of stuff. And you can make a sprite animation. I will not go into detail about Expandio, but the point is that the software is still #1, and I believe it continues to be #1 on this market. And the new one actually is coming this summer, which will add also multi-animation on the screen with multi-timelines and a lot of cool stuff, new stuff in the software. So what I'm saying is, because I wanted to have a software which is unique, which does not exist on the market, why I did it? Competition. I want to lower competition as much as I could. So instead of fighting head-to-head with something which is out there, I've tried to convince people, okay, so my software has these 2 more gadgets, and it's cool because it has 2 more gadgets. Of course, some people may want to hide those gadgets, and those gadgets may be important. So I'm not saying it's bad at all, because it is good for many people to have those improvements. Maybe critical, because I did this a very similar thing as improvement, but big improvement on Synleads. But I try to come with a new product, completely new product, as the only on the market, like I'm coming up with Vinci.
What does mean Expandio in figures right now?
If I'm not mistaken, Expandio by itself sold over $1,600,000 so far. So it is $1.6 million in revenue from just an Expandio brand. It included Expandio plus the template cap together. I don't have it separate, but it means that we did great on the software, and we are about to release the version 3, which people already love. The beta tester, we have 32 different beta testers testing the software already for the last 4 months, and now we did not release it. Right now is version 14 of the version 3, so it's 3.0.14 version right now on beta testing for Expandio 3, which is coming this summer.
Which is amazing, by the way. How did you come with the idea of doing something on video?
I actually did video before. What I did with video before was two things. First of all, we needed video for ourselves. So I had a problem with getting people to actually make my videos. I hired maybe 2, 3 different animators, and both animators essentially screw up the work. So I paid money, and let's be honest, those videos sucks. So it was my first as a customer side, as a customer. Then we tried to make those videos for ourselves and at the same time for others. Maybe not that many, maybe like 10 or 15 different videos. So it was second part, and we first tried to automate it as much as we could. We start from PowerPoint at the time, back then, and try to mix a kind of animation in Flash with PowerPoint, but PowerPoint proved to be not good enough to make anything which is really active. It's good software, but it is meant for presentation mostly. But to make a good video in PowerPoint as animated video is not really that good. So then we started to move and making those videos, animated sales videos, in Flash, but by hand. So we make this animation, Flash animation, by hand. But then we feel, oh, why? Hold on. We are doing the same type of animation, so on. So let's do a few, like the generic kind of animation, like a library. So first we did a library of animation, like this element falling here, we have this dropping down here. So we have like maybe, 100 or 200 different elements of animation, which we could use over and over in our handmade Flash videos. And then like clicked that, okay, so why we should keep this by hand? So we added automation, and we were able to actually do it by just changing elements in the small software, and then it grew up to also draw and everything, so to be the best on the market for the 2D animation.
What kind of knowledge do you need to actually start to think about doing something like that with video?
Actually, it depends who you partner with. If you don't have the knowledge, you can find somebody who has the knowledge, and you can partner with these people. We have now team like 24 people, but I did not start that way. First, I was only by myself, yes. But I am not animator. I essentially cannot do any single animation. I can do some technology because I have this background, but I cannot do an animation. I know what is good when I see it, but I am unable to create an animation. So I partnered at the beginning, very beginning of those first videos, with an animator, with whom I still work, yes. Then I cannot have, even programmer don't know all different kind of stuff. I, for example, don't know how to program Flash or program in Adobe Air. I am not this kind of technology. I don't know this kind of technology. I am good at managing the people who can do it, but I do it myself. So I found the developer who did it. So basically, main knowledge which I used there was ability to manage people and to be able to contact them and prepare good descriptions or mapping the functionality, let's say. But I didn't do any real programming by myself. I didn't do any animation by myself. And certainly I'm not an artist, so I didn't create any art by myself.
I understand. So basically, I would like to move the discussion to a new masterpiece from your portfolio. I can't wait to dig into it because you gave me early access, and I wanted to have this interview first, and after that to start using it. I have some ideas how to use it. What is Vinci 3D? Because I saw some demos and they look astonishing.
Okay, so I can tell you this is very fast, as I like to do very fast of this kind of software on the desktop. Essentially, if you can search as much as you want, you will not find anything which can do the same thing because there is none. Here is the background about this. Actually, it is pretty much same background as we started with Expandio, because there is a pain working with designers, and also there is money opportunity to make money with designs on both sides. First of all, designers, the better they are on design, I find that maybe this is not the general rule, but it's my experience, if they get better as a design per se and produce a better animation, the worse they are on delays and on motivation. Some kind of, you can say this some kind of prima donna effect. You know, like a prima donna is very good in theater and everybody want her. So these top designers, they are essentially feel that they are so good, but you pay them, but they still treat you like okay, I have to do it, so I do it, but whatever. And usually you pay, you get it, and you get it like 4 weeks later. Or on the other hand, they don't do anything because they get too busy, or if the animation is like average, we still have to wait on some guy who is do it or don't do it. So it was the main foundation. On our side, we're paying for it. We're paying for it like $100 to $500 per 5 seconds of animation. 5 seconds. So I mean, how hard could it be to automate it? So we did essentially, we had the Expandio already, and we also was thinking, okay, Expandio is number one in 2D. There's no question about it. Right now, there is no better software, and I don't see any better software on Horizon right now, which can combine 2D animation with drawings and HD motion and everything that Expandio does. So let's say we are top leader and we are coming with version 3, we are top. But I was thinking, okay, so the VAD is good and it will continue to be good. But what is like most important for the sales letter or to convert the visitors to buyers or to subscribers is the first few seconds of the video. And those days, because those software tools like Expandio is getting better and better, it is either hard to get people to like immediately catch attention. Like, so they see your video and you grab them instantly. So this first few seconds is important. And the good thing is that you can have this animation on the start so good. You want to have it so good that it will be like instant attention grabber. So I think, okay, what it can be? It is 3D. So we did a few different projects on 3D with Adobe Effect. We did with Max 3D and so on, a few of our own animation. It was great, but it was time consuming, it was money and time. Even if you want to buy the ready-made Adobe Effect template, one template costs about $40 to $50, and you still are using pretty much like our templates for one template, and it is for Adobe Effects. So either you pay designer to customize your Adobe Effect template, and then so you can publish it, and you still pay for license, you pay for work, you wait. Well, it is, let's say, it is very hard to deal with process. Vinci 3D is the solution for it. You have ready-made templates, but not just that. It is full 3D, but you can customize them any way you want to. You can customize it the way it want to have. You can change the angle. You can change the lights around, which show whatever. But most importantly, let me push some point which is known in our software, which is huge. First of all, it is a desktop software. We team up in a sense that we bought the license, professional license, from the Unity 3D engine. Unity 3D engine is one of the two top engines. Some say it's number one, some say it's number two. A real world engine, you can say. There was games made of those engine which go to the market and they make like $100 million on the games which use this very engine which we are using for Vinci 3D, which means that the engine is kind of like a best model of Ferrari or best model of Lamborghini, which is like a foundation. So it is important on what foundation you build. So our engine is one of the best engines on the market, one of the top 2 engines in the market. So we said, okay, we cannot make this kind of good engine by ourselves. Even if we have like 20 developers working for 2 years or 3 years, we will not be able to do so big engines. So we bought the expensive license. It's not cheap. It is, I believe it was like $2,000, and then you have to pay like $75 per month for every license for developer, just to keep it licensed to be used. So we're investing a lot of money into this engine, but I think it is worth it And then we built Vinci 3D on top of this engine. So with all functionality we want, you can render the video on any engine you want. We can show the real-time preview. User does not have to wait for the preview, does not have to render video just to see how it looks. There's a real-time 3D preview of the animation. Then we created all the best kind of animation which people use. I will show the demo in a second after we do it. But you can take this animation and essentially make your own. You can change angle, you can change the speed of animation. This is super important. We saw some other software which can do some kind of 3D stuff, but you need to change the speed. Our members, we have 26,000, I believe, Explania members. One of the main concern is that the customer order video from them, so they can sell to customer. There is some constraints. They want to have ability to have those video like 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 6 seconds, whatever. Also, they want to have a tempo, slower, faster, whatever. So Vinci 3D is a software which allows you to change the speed of animation, faster, slower, so you can match the audio, you can match the user request. Also, you can set a different start and different end of animation, because some of our animation are longer and some are shorter. So again, to fit in the time slot, you can shorten it. Also, animation starts slow and then it can speed up and then it can be slower. So customer of yours, if you sell videos or for yourself, you can essentially cut the beginning, cut the ending, or just put whatever part you want, and this will animate with your logo. So you don't have to have a whole animation then to think what you can do with it.
Very interesting.
And maybe I will mention one more feature because before we jump into the software, which is the feature when you can add different video effects. What I mean by effects, you are able actually to change how it looks. For example, you can add a blur to the video, so that doesn't have to be 100% clear. So kind of little blur on the background really make it look unique. Let me click here so I will can go through. We have bloom effect. Bloom effect is kind of like you adjust the intensity of the animation. Really cool effect, like taking out all this stuff, color contrast and stretch and stuff like this. So let me jump to the software so I can explain it better. Do you have any other question before we jump to the software?
Anyway, I'm overwhelmed with so many features.
It is a lot, yes, I know.
I recognize I'm overwhelmed.
Okay, I have maybe like...
In a good way, of course.
Okay, absolutely. I mean, it is very easy to use. Maybe it is hard when you listen to it, but we have already 19 different tutorial videos. We linked in our Facebook group, so you can just jump into these videos and you see how easy it is. And the basic customization, you just click, and you are done. So you can just, I will show you right now how easy it is. Do you want?
Yeah.
So let's jump to the software, but I see that this recording time is ending like 3 minutes from now. Do you want to start?
One second. I will stop now this one and we'll start another one with the demo, and I will create 2 different videos and also a third one where I will connect them. It's okay?
Okay, good.
Okay.